you've got low back pain. Maybe it's chronic. Maybe it's been there forever. Maybe you've tried everything. Like you've taken all the drugs, you've seen all the physios and chiros and massage, you've done all the things, and you're just not getting the relief you're looking for. It could be stuck in your emotions. Let's talk about it. Before we dive in, make sure you click like and subscribe so you can get notifications for all of these videos, because emotions in the body, how they get there and why they're there and all of that stuff is my jam. And I love sharing it. I love talking about it. So make sure you're subscribed. So, who has not had some form of low back pain in their life? Truly. Like, put your hand up if you've never experienced low back pain. Not that I can see you, but I don't think there's gonna be a lot of hands up. It doesn't have to be always chronic, but I mean, you've probably done something. Like maybe you lifted something weird, or maybe you maybe went a little too hard in a workout, maybe there's been an accident or an incident. Like there are so many reasons and potentials for why your low back is hurting, but why isn't it healing is the question. And like that's where the emotions get involved. But before we dive into that, let's talk about where the back is in the body. So like the low back is in the lower part of your body, just above like your pelvis, and it's all part of your core. A lot of times when we think about the core, you just think of the abdomen, like so like the rectus abdominis. That's kind of what people think, like, oh, I'm gonna work my core. It's like, work both sides, but I digress. So the back is all part of it. So that whole round part of us, that's the core. And it really is like the top and the bottom of our body. So we have a lot of pressure there. It's a huge structural support. When that structure gets questioned or the foundation gets shaky, you're going to feel it in your back. Also, if we look at this from a traditional Chinese medicine point of view, the meridians that are involved, we have urinary bladder and kidney that run on either side of the spine. And so what does that mean? Each organ houses specific emotions. And those two organs, so urinary and kidney, they house fear, dread, shock, horror. Like they house these really heavy, deep emotions. And fear is a huge one in it. And so when you think like when you're afraid, there's like this fight or flight response, right? Well, what's involved in that response? Well, that's your adrenals, and they sit right on top of your kidneys. So if you're in this constant state of fear, those kidneys are working double time. You've probably heard of adrenal fatigue. They've just worked themselves to exhaustion. And because of where the kidneys are positioned in the body, it's that low back area. Like that's exactly where the kidneys are. So it kind of adds up. And I get it. You're probably not walking around just like afraid of everything. Like, oh my God. I'm like, well, no, probably not. But there's some really deep-rooted fears that are kind of ingrained in all of us. And one of the big ones, the biggest one that I see, and this is being in personal training land, massage, and subconscious imprinting, fear of finances, like money fears, financial responsibilities, lacking, like just all of that collects in the low back. And this has been pretty unanimous across the board. So when I say fear, I don't mean like shock fear. I mean these like low grade kind of dreads that just like compound on each other and basically multiply over time. So I'm curious if you've ever experienced low back pain, please comment below. And how does this sound so far? Like, does this make sense to you? Like, have you ever had it? Maybe you just lost your job and it's just like, oh my God, then your back goes out. Like there could be a connection there. And so I'm curious, has this happened to you? Please comment below and let's talk about it, because as I said earlier, this is my jam, and I would love to help you decipher it. So what do we do with this information? Great. I have fear of finances that I'm never gonna have enough, and so that means like my low back is gonna be hurting forever. Like, that's depressing. So like, what do we do about it? A couple things. First, be an adult. Check your finances. Get budgeting. Like there's the Money Mentors. I'm not affiliated with them, but Money Mentors is a huge one. I'm sure there's other things out there where you can consolidate debts, you can get like an action plan, but budgeting is huge. And there is no right time to start budgeting besides now. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I know it's hard and it can be kind of iffy and it's a touchy subject and people are probably gonna be mad about it, but seriously, budgeting is huge. Budgeting gives you freedom because now you're in control of your money. You're not just turning a blind eye and pretending things aren't happening the way they are. You can be in debt. You can be like, things can be bad. Like that is life sometimes, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Ignoring it will absolutely assure that it continues though. Addressing it, you can start to change that path and change that trajectory. There we go. I would also encourage you to be aware of when your back pain kind of flares up. And I do this in quotations, just like when you kind of notice it, like who are you talking to? What have you been talking about? Did it just kind of creep up? Was it a sharp shooting pain? Like really get curious about the whole conversation your body is trying to have with you. If there's a specific person that anytime you're with them, your back is just like, just seizes up, that's a red flag. Your body is trying to tell you something. Or maybe you're talking about a specific topic, like maybe it is finances, maybe it's something else. Maybe you're really afraid of, maybe you're afraid of death, maybe you're afraid of something, I don't know. Like, be aware of like what conversation you're having when your low back starts to hurt. So this awareness is huge, and it is the number one step that you can take in any kind of healing is awareness. Just like, oh, that's curious. I'm talking to this person and my back is really sore and it wasn't hurting before. Like, start to put two and two together, right? Like, that is the most integral part I think you can do is awareness. And then if you're feeling a little extra, juju-y about it, journal, write out your experience. Like, wow, I noticed today when I was talking to so-and-so that my back really started hurting, and this is what we were talking about. And then you can start to think, when else has this happened? Have we had conversations like this before? And start connecting the dots that way. So this is kind of a modified, simplified blurb about low back pain. But if it resonates at all and you're curious even more about yourself and why you are the way you are and the reactions that you have and where these emotions are stored, I have created a 7-part full development series. Like, it literally covers from second trimester all the way to 12 years old, healing that whole inner child. And I'm giving you module 1 for free. The link is below. I encourage you to click it and try it out. And before we sign off, I would like to offer you some statements. And so what this is this is you talking to your body. I will have you put your feet flat on the floor if you can, close your eyes and put your hand over your heart. And all you have to do is repeat after me. If you don't want to repeat after me, that's okay too. But saying it out loud is very cathartic and very powerful. So let's start. Feet are on the floor, pushing down with your big toes, closing your eyes, hand on your heart. Take a deep breath in and repeat after me. I forgive myself for believing that I will always be stuck with this low back pain. And then take a deep breath. I forgive myself for believing that I will always have money problems. And take a deep breath. I forgive myself for believing that I will never be out of debt. I forgive myself for believing that I have to stress about money 24/7. I forgive my parents for not teaching me how to manage my money better. I forgive myself for believing the only way my partner will love me is if I provide for them. I ask my body to please forgive me for all the ways I choose to stay in this stress and this fear, causing it to be in pain. I ask my body to please forgive me for assuming it was failing me when I felt that low back pain, when all it was doing was communicating to me that something needed to be healed. I forgive myself for all the ways I choose to be angry and resentful instead of seeking out how I can do better for myself. I give love and gratitude to my body for communicating to me that something needed to be healed. I give love and gratitude to my body for keeping me alert and letting me know that something needed to be addressed. Without this pattern of being stuck in the mindset of lack, I now give myself permission to seek out ways that I can be more abundant with ease. Without this pattern of low back pain slowing me down, I give myself permission to understand that my body is communicating to me. I love and accept myself, allowing myself to be open to receiving all the abundance from all directions, even though I have never experienced this before. I love and accept myself, choosing an abundant mindset, even though I've never practiced this before. I love and accept myself, understanding that my body's cues are a way to communicate, even though in the past I have been afraid that something was wrong. And you can open your eyes, take a nice deep breath. If any of those resonated, I would encourage you to journal that and dig a little deeper. Ask your body some questions. Just be like, hey body, why did we feel like that? start talking to your body. All right, see you next time.